now I'm gonna go into this next shade, which is called Twilight. And this is a deep blue. And you can see it's so pigmented, but I will double layer it just to make it a bit more even. It's so pigmented. I have used this shade. I did a blue look using the ocean all over my lid. I used like Twilight to deepen it up. I put sky on my lower lash line, and then I put ray in the inner corner, and it was stunning. I really liked that look. I thought it was so beautiful. So that is the shade Twilight, and it's just like a very dark, deep navy. But it is a good formula for a dark, deep navy. Like sometimes dark colours like that, they're a bit awful in terms of like the formula, and like they're difficult to use. But that one was actually very easy to just like stamp on my outer corner and deepen everything up. So I really like it. And oh my gosh, this shade, the next one, Ocean. This is pretty. It's a really pretty shade. It's kind of like a duochrome, deepish blue with like a purple running through it. And it's so pretty. I hope you're going to be able to see the full effect of this shade. Like you can kind of see the purple, and it also maybe even has a orangey murky green. I feel like these are quite popular. It kind of reminds me of like the Melt Gemini palette a little bit. For some reason it's like much more awkward to swatch on this wrist than it was on this wrist. Probably because I'm right-handed, but I feel like I'm still getting some okay swatches. So that's the shade Leaf right there, and you can see they go really well together. And it's a very pretty, like murky shade. It's beautiful for this autumn season, in my personal opinion. I feel like the second two rows, like these two rows, are very, very like autumn leaning in tone. I feel like these two are a bit more bright and vibrant. These are very grungy, but you could still definitely go grungy with this kind of colour story. It's just the second row is a bit more like murky, like dirty colours, if you know what I mean. Okay, this shade is the shade Eucalyptus. That's a really gorgeous deepening shade. I did my look with these three when I did like a green look, and I did really like the way it turned out. Excuse me. The mattes did take a little bit of blending and everything, but I feel like for the price you kind of expect that. But I would say, like, for me personally, they didn't actually. It's difficult because I feel like I do have high-end shadows in my collection that perform worse than these, but then I do also have some shadows that perform better. So it's like, they are good for the price, but they are also just good eyeshadows. But like, obviously they don't like blend themselves or anything. You do have to kind of like blend them and put a bit of work into them, but overall I find them just really, really good, to be honest. I have no problems with these really. The next shade that I'm going to swatch is going to be this one called Marigold. It really goes with my dress that I'm wearing today. It's a gorgeous yellowy mustard. I'm just going to swatch it on my arm. This is a very pretty matte shade. I don't really own anything like this either. It goes very pretty with the greens and like the reds in this palette. I really, really like it. I feel like that shade is very, again, like autumn in tone. I don't know how I got like eyeshadow on my leg down here, but yeah. It's a shade Marigold. And then we have another one of these really pretty shimmers. This is in the shade Fossil. And oh, this is pretty. It's like a neutral coppery shade, but it's special in my opinion. It's very kind of like flaky and creamy and reflective, and it does have kind of a duochrome to it of like pink and gold. I don't know. It's just so pretty in my opinion. Like for a basic shimmer shade like this, it just has a lot of dimension to it. And a lot of like shimmers see. This is more of a traditional shimmer. It's kind of like a shimmer with micro glitters in it, and it's still very pretty in my opinion. It has like, yeah, like tiny little micro glitters of like gold in it. This would be very pretty at Christmas time as well. Yeah, it has little gold glitters in it, but it's a bit less of a, like, you can kind of see the difference between this shimmer and this shimmer. It's not quite as shiny as the others, but that micro glitter in it is very pretty. Like, it's definitely not subtle or a dud, it's just different to the other ones. It would have been kind of cool to have like a creamy shimmer that was a red, but I do actually still enjoy this option quite a lot. I think it's very pretty and it goes well with these other reds. The next one is this brown shade called Earth. I feel like it goes in this palette quite well, and you can't really fault them for putting in just like a neutral shade like this. It goes quite well with that shade Marigold and Fossil to create like kind of just a very easy neutral look. It's just pretty. It looks a bit patchy there though. I don't know, I'd have to try it on my eyes to really see what the formula is like, but there we go. It goes quite well with the reds and like these two. It does kind of make this palette just a little bit more like everyday and neutral, which I know not everyone likes, but I do appreciate it. I think it's nice to have something to make it a bit more neutral leaning. And finally there's a shade Sunrise, which is a really gorgeous yellow, not yellow, orange, but it would go really well again with the like reds and the shade Fossil and the shade Marigold as well. I feel like it works really well in this palette. I'm just not doing very well at these last swatches, unfortunately. There we go. It's a bit crooked, but it's better than nothing. And that, my lovely friends, is the entire palette swatched out. I think you can kind of see why I wanted it. It's so pretty. And those shimmers just sparkle so beautifully. And I do feel that they go really well together, and I do think they look like the Melt palettes, but just for a much cheaper price. So for the money, I am so pleased with this palette. And this was such a beautiful gift that my boyfriend gave me. God bless him. I'm so excited about this palette. I can't wait to wear it a little bit more and everything. So there we go, that is the Wilderness palette. And also, like, swatch